What? Somebody tried to assassinate Donald Trump, and you have the audacity to blame us, your loving media who only try to get you facts?
Of course, it's Trump is a Nazi time again.
Let's deal with Hitler, okay?
I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that. I mean, that is Mussolini, Hitler-like language.
Trump's affinity for Hitler was always covered under an umbrella of his stupidity.
Echoing Hitler's words.
Listen to this.
Well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right.
Echoing the hateful rhetoric of Adolf Hitler.
It echoes Hitler.
That's the kind of language Hitler used in Mein Kampf.
In calling Donald Trump Hitler, the biggest threat to our democracy, that we'll never have a vote again, what do you think was going to happen? Oh, media acolytes, you are definitely responsible for creating the environment. It's almost like you were running a chemical equation and you inputted certain things in order to radicalize society, in order to divide us. You knew that this was going to be the precipitate of this chemical reaction. And you increased the likelihood that somebody was going to take a shot at Donald Trump.
Take a look at what happened.
If you have Hitler in your sights and you can end World War II and massive amounts of suffering, you take it.
About vermin and Hitler and Mussolini.
That's a horrifying clip. That's a fascist clip.
But this is the way that you framed him over and over again, pounding it into the heads of U.S. citizens, and this was the result. And now you're trying to both sides it.
President Trump and his supporters have contributed to this violent rhetoric as well.
Well, absolutely, George. We were just looking back this morning at some of the things that former President Trump has said. He warned last March of potential death and destruction if he were charged by the Manhattan District Attorney. Our country is being destroyed as they tell us to be peaceful. Trump in January warned of bedlam in the country if the criminal charges against him succeeded. And of course, in March, he said, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That will be the least of it. He said he was partly joking and that was taken out of context. But those are indeed his words. And you have heard it from supporters as well. And supporters are certainly, in some parts, angry. And let's remember January 6th. In so many ways for the campaign, January 6th will probably be in the background after yesterday's event. This is a very difficult time for this campaign. I'm sure this week in Milwaukee that President Trump will highlight this, and President Biden is going to have to figure out how to go forward with this campaign and what exactly they say.
You're trying to say that Donald Trump is responsible because he used the word bloodbath, referring to the economy. But you, of course, frame it that he is talking about a civil war as damage to individuals if he's not elected, as a threat. This is the way that you frame things, and you have to expect that there is going to be repercussions. This is calculated. This was done intentionally so that you would have plausible deniability regarding the events that transpired. What? It was us? You dare blame us? Look at his rhetoric. The fact is that America deserves better. The fact is that you are mouthpieces of the state, that you are doing their bidding so that they can retain power and be in control of the purse strings and the direction that the taxpayer honeypot flows to. All those massive amounts of money that we pay in. You get to decide where it goes. You enrich yourselves, you enrich your friends, you get a stranglehold more and more over what we are allowed to say, do, think, and you use the media apparatus to control. And we are blowing this up. And I have to say that I mean that proverbially. I don't mean that literally. We are exposing you for the liars, for the cheats, for the manipulative artists and propagandists that you are. I hope that nobody ever listens again to MSDNC and not think that in the back of their minds that they were just regretful of one thing, that the bullet wasn't a millimeter to the right. That is what they regret most in this present moment. Why? Because you probably believe your own hype, because it's inhuman to be able to repeat these horrific accusations of a man without any evidence practically and not internally begin to believe them. Because this is how human beings are. As Goebbels, the German propagandist for the Third Reich, stated, if you tell a lie enough, loud enough, long enough, people will believe it. And in order to maintain your credibility inside, I bet you that all these news anchors might believe some of the things that they're saying, because that's human nature. You repeat something to yourself, you believe it. It's like an incantation that you take in. But the fact is that the media is responsible. The Democrats that control the media and the narrative that is being put forward. And the only thing that we have going for us is the fact that Elon Musk took over X, because you know that they would immediately be canceling accounts, be shadow banning them for propagating a conspiracy, that it was a leftist, that it was the result of the media, that this is a dangerous accusation to make. But it can't be more true. This is the reality that we as Americans face. A media that despises the population, that see their position close to the seat of power as their reward for propagandizing and lying to every single one of you out there. That doesn't mean that there aren't good journalists. There are, and they're largely on Substack because they could not stomach being part of the inferno of CNN, of the Washington Post. This message is on repeat because I so strongly believe it, having been woken up myself from a stupor, believing that the New York Times was golden material, that it was sound, that they would never tell a lie intentionally. We now know that to be a falsehood. This is why they are both sizing the Donald Trump assassination attempt. Well, if only his rhetoric had been different, he wouldn't have gotten what he deserved. Fuck you. That's the only response I have. I am tired of giving you the benefit of the doubt. Nothing that Trump says is all in the framing that the media makes of his statements, like the bloodbath one, like the fine people hoax that you propagated that divided the nation against itself, believing that Trump was some evil racist. And most people do not have the ability to go down and dig in and get the facts. Just the fact that on CNN, on MSNBC, over and over again, you called him racist. And you wonder that somebody would take a shot at it. No, you don't wonder. You were hopeful of it because you believe the internal dialogue that you told yourself over and over again that Trump is a monster, that he's Hitler. Well, F you and F your propaganda. I hope that the American people no longer stand for it and tear down the institutions that you have created to deliver us this poison.